The Dallas Cowboys are about to make a big mistake at the NFL scouting combine. Let me explain why. I'm Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted reporter. Good Monday morning on Breakfast at Fishneys, like live. As we are sending 3 members of the 75-member staff to Indianapolis. We got 3 guys there. So my staff, CowboysSI.com and the Fish Report, has 3 guys that we think should be there because it's important. The Cowboys don't think the head coach or the defensive coordinator should be there. Diddly diddly dink, what? I'm going to artfully, maybe, explain how I can be both deferential to Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy and Zim, and the decision for them to skip the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, while also suggesting that the decision represents an organizational error in judgment. So here's what happened. The handful of Dallas reporters that always go to the Scouting Combine, and that group does not include me. When they get to Indianapolis, they traditionally get to go have a off-the-record hang with Big Mike, kind of like we've done at the Star in recent years on Fridays. So it's supposed to just be between us girls. So this time around, McCarthy and the organization made the decision he ain't going, either Zimmer. So that collection of reporters was gathered together, and McCarthy told them, here's why we're doing this meeting here, because I'm not going. His explanation is, Zimmer and I will have a full week together here at the Star. We'll cover a lot of ground with things we're working on, no doubt. At the same time, we'll still participate in the combine process, and we'll have direct contact through video calls and meetings while having our coaches on the ground there as well. This sort of decision is not without precedent. Los Angeles Rams coach Sean McVay, he usually doesn't go. And his reasoning is, first of all, we got a lot of people there, but also we'll get to know the players, but I'm not interested in going to a track meet. I'm going to watch film. And listen, whatever the Rams are doing in team building, they're doing it right. So I'm not dismissing out of hand completely the idea that, this will, all of a sudden you won't be a good football. I'm not saying that. McVay says there's traits in players that I value that I can get without going there. The Cowboys have also had McCarthy stay home. Well, he stayed home from the NFL owners meetings a couple years ago. But I do not agree with the assertion from McCarthy, as ESPN puts it, that, quote, the workload capacity and time efficiency make more sense for them to remain at the Star. I don't see that at all. So I'll recruit you. Get in, get on, be good. I'll read the comments. By the way, Fish at 6 tonight, live, and we are giving away the magnificent Fossil watch, brand new Fossil watch. All you have to do is type in, and you have until 6:01 tonight to do this. Type in watch, the state in which you live, and please do be a subscriber to what we do here as we approach 70,000 fish heads in Cowboy Nation. So explain this to me. There's no cap on man hours that they can devote to the integration of new coach Mike Zimmer and his system. Put it all together. There's no ceiling on how much time they can spend doing that. It's not a violation of the CBA for them to stay, instead of staying until 8 o'clock at night, they can stay till 9. Instead of getting there at 7 in the morning, they can get there at 6. They can skip lunch. There is not a cap on man hours when it comes to integrating the new coach and his system. There's not a cap on man hours when it comes to devoting time to scouting research ahead of the April draft. Therefore, how is there a time crunch that makes McCarthy Zimmer an either or when it comes to workload capacity? How is there not enough time in the day to do both? I've said this for a long time. I appreciate what Dick Vermeil was trying to do back in the day when he pretty much gave himself a nervous breakdown because he was so devoted to trying to find one more thing on film, talk to one more player, study one more X and one more O, that you about had a nervous breakdown. It was sleeping in his office guy. By the way, Vermeil started that, and he did not do that for publicity. The next thing you know, we had a lot of guys. John Gruden, I sleep in my office too. Okay, we get it. You're hard workers. You're all hard workers. I am not advocating that in order to squeeze all this in, the hiring of Mike Zimmer, which is done, the integration of his defense into the Cowboys system, which is going to be, by the way, that's going to be an ongoing thing. That'll go all the way to training camp, just like the Texas Coast offense was. And scouting. How is that either or? How is there a time crunch when it comes to workload capacity? I am not saying, Zimmer, sleep on your couch in the office. I'm not questioning the work ethic of two NFL lifers. You don't get this far by being lazy. But the NFL draft is 2 months away. Big Mike, Zim, you're telling me there's not enough time in the next 60 days to get your scheme in place and look draft prospects in the eye for 1 day, 3 days, 5 days? There's just not enough time in the next 2 months? Most of the other teams are finding the time. I point out the Rams. Other teams have new coaches too. It seems to me the newer the coach, the more you need to get your ass to the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Game, the Scouting Combine, everything you can get your hands on. I thought it was weird last year when, as I recall, McCarthy, he made a quick visit to Indy and then came back home and got to work on the Texas Coast offense, basically skipping the combine, as I recall. But he did do the lunch with the media, which is nice. So the Cowboys coach met in Indianapolis with the media upon his arrival, which we appreciate, and then didn't meet with the players? You get no extra credit here, by the way, from Big Mike, for noting that you will still participate in the combine process and have direct contact through video calls and meetings. For 2 reasons. 1, Zoom is not direct contact. I know that we've come to understand what Zoom meetings could do, but it's not direct contact. Direct contact is this, not this. And then you're going to view tape. You mean like us? You mean you're going to be like Mike Fisher and Jim Laws and Paul Gale and Vocals and Shadow Wolf? And you're going to watch it on TV? Putting you at the same level as the rest of us schmoes? That's how the Cowboys plan to stay ahead of the game? It's not very all in. Nor do the Cowboys get points from me here because, as McCarthy said, we'll have our coaches on the ground as well. As you know, I'm a boots on the ground guy. That's why I'm sending 3 reporters. I believe in boots on the ground. When I used to go to Indy, I'm telling you, the stuff that you get, the info that you gather, the material that you have access to by just sitting in a chair in the lobby of the hotel is priceless. And I've advised a couple of these guys, of my 3 guys. One of them's gone a long time, David Harrison. Another one, this will be his first time, Cody Davis. Another guy is young Daniel Flick. I think this will be his 3rd time. I've made sure they understand. I'm not telling you to work 24 hours a day, but go sit in the lobby. Go watch and listen and shake some hands and learn. So my guys are going to do that at Indy, but Mike and Mike aren't. I have spoken to the Cowboys front office about this, and this I will grant. It's true. Jerry and Steven will spend some time there, sometime. Will McClay and all the scouts and all the assistants, they'll all be there. And the Cowboys point out to me, because they're aware that I'm doing this visit with you here and at cowboyssi.com, by the way. 30 visits. Mike McCarthy's right in the middle of it. Dallas Day. Mike McCarthy's right in the middle of it. Let's go down and do Texas A&M Pro Day or whatever. Mike McCarthy. I get it. McCarthy will be in the mix. Zimmer will be in the mix. On the ground matters, but on the ground isn't just watching a guy run the 40. And Mike know this. It's about the interaction with the guys. I've said this for years about people make fun of all this minutia that you get in scouting. His wingspan of his hand. In basketball, wingspan, right? You don't think that's important in basketball? How about the wingspan of a guy's hand? People used to make fun of that. And I said, if you don't think it matters, I used to say, go shake hands with Troy Aikman, whose wingspan of his hands are like this. And tell me that doesn't make a difference. In throwing a football, holding on to a football, tell me it doesn't make a difference. If you're a mere mortal, you ever tried to throw an NFL football? If you have my size of hands, there's only so much you can do with it. Now try throwing a Nerf football, which is what it feels like to Troy Aikman. And look at all the magical things you can do with it, Mr. Little Hands. Hand span matters. Not just to watch the guy run the 40. That's not why you go to the scouting combine. It's to meet and greet. You don't just see a printout of a guy's hand span. You shake his hand. And what's his personality? What's he like? What's his vibe? What's his mood? Is he cool? Is he nervous? Will McClay in his office, last time I checked, has 5 bullet points about what he needs in a player. And I think the number one is, does he love football, as I recall? The head coach of the Dallas Cowboys thinks he can gauge that from a phone call? I was taught a long time ago, and I'll close with this. I thank you for your comments. Again, tonight we're giving away the Fossil Watch. Get in, get on, be good. Watch is what you type in, the name of your state in which you live, and please do subscribe here. Thank you also for hitting the like button. And spread the word about non-slapdickery, Emmy award-winning cowboy coverage here on the channel. I was taught a long time ago by some of the most heralded scouts in NFL history, guys you've heard of, a deep secret to their shared success. They all told me a version of the same thing at different times. And as I told you the other day, I saw this one day at SMU game. I'm sitting next to a Cowboy scout in the press box. And I get there early, real early, and he's there before me. And we start talking about why. And he says, I want to get here. I get here and I go, he said, I go out in the parking lot. I watch him get off the bus. And this scout was the first guy to get there and the last guy to leave. He goes back out to the parking lot after the game. I want to see him get back on the bus. Here's his quote to me. I want to see how he prepares. I want to see how he warms up. I want to see if he's nice to his mom. I want to see if he's nice to his girlfriend. I want to see how he interacts with his friends in the parking lot. I want to see if it pains him to lose. And the Dallas Cowboys and Big Mike and friend of the show, Mike Zimmer, are going to skip on all that because there just isn't time? Fish out.